Remember, you're using an active voice here. Out loud. Say it. Be wrong out loud. It's way better than being right in your head. A laser is pointed, but what is the beam splitter actually doing? Boom. Do that. That's active, right? Rewrite the sentence.
So,
beam splitter. Split. Think that's how the box guys. You don't have to stick to the same format.
A laser split through. Split.
That's much better. I would much rather read that sentence.
A laser is split through a beam splitter.
isn't that still passive? No, that's still passive. Is still passive.
You guys have to agree and talk together to make the sentence better. That's the idea.
Say that
19 heads are better
Isn't it still
than 1 head.
passive?
No, you didn't. You said it to like to
Oh,
three of
I
us.
felt like I was really loud.
Loud.
Isn't it still a passive sentence?
So what she asks is, isn't that a passive sentence? Is that sentence still passive, guys?
It's split.
Picture with the beam splitter splits
I heard it. Where is it? The beam splitter.
Split. A laser.
Okay. So you can actually take out this whole thing, right? A beam splitter.
There we go.
A beam splitter splits the laser light into 2 beams.
Oh.
Then we have a colon here, and then it goes on. The object beam and the reference beam. Anyone have any issues with the colon? Can we substitute the colon for something else maybe? Why do we use colon?
Make a list of
For a
things.
list, right?
But that's
Do we have a list of things here?
Oh.
No. So colons is one of those they're one of those things that if you have to use them, you can use them, but commas and periods are pretty safe in scientific writing. Okay? So it just kind of reads better, it looks better. I'll just put a comma here. I wouldn't even bother with the colon. So something that took almost 2.5 lines is now probably just 1 line. Precision. Let's move on to the next sentence, starting with the reference.
A mirror reflects the
Yeah.
reference beam.
Hmm?
A mirror reflects the reference beam.
Okay, so you want to switch all of this around, put a mirror in the beginning, reflects
The reference.
the reference beam. Okay.
Change in to which.
Yeah, which shines onto.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. A mirror reflects the reference beam and
Change in to
which shines on the film plate. Okay? Everyone okay with that? Okay, let's move on to the object.
I think that's the object for you.
Guys, I'm way up here.
I think the sentence is okay.
Everyone thinks the sentence is okay? The object beam penetrates the lens which disperses the light particles. I have an issue.
Okay.
So remember when I said that you're writing for someone that don't know what you're talking about, right? And when you say the light particles and you haven't referenced light particles before, it kind of makes me feel like I'm missing something.
Could you replace
What
that?
light particles?
Could you replace that with just saying the object beam penetrates, which disperses the beam? Why did you mention beams of light before?
Okay, will that be accurate? Is that what it does? You guys read it. You guys did a case study on it. You know how it works. So what's accurate? object beam penetrates the lens would disperse the light particles. Or the suggestions?
Add laser or lasers. Like
Yeah.
Which disperses the lasers.
Okay. You want to put lasers here? A laser. Like that?
Yeah.
Okay. I still don't know what light particles we're talking about.
You get rid
The
of
ones
particles.
that are
Just
particles.
get rid of the particles.
Someone tell me in your own words what actually happens so we can all be on the same page on what happens and then we translate that to a sentence. So what happens?
It just disperses the laser light and doesn't, and when it just makes the beam bigger so that it hits off the object and
The beam is misfocused.
You guys speak up just a little bit so we can all hear.
The beam
Repeat
of
what
light
you
is
said.
misfocused once it goes through the lens. No. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that's right.
So what?
So the lens unfocuses the light.
Yes.
Where did we learn that?
It's separate.
Where were you guys at when you learned that?
Widens the light.
I think it's not just a single beam of light anymore, it's just more spread out.
You have to be accurate, guys. This is, okay. So, when I do this with the high school students, they usually make up what they want to say because they don't really understand, so they start making up other stuff. Don't get caught in that trap. Before you write anything, it has to be accurate, meaning that you have to know what you're talking about. Meaning that if I read it, I shouldn't have to ask anyone, I don't know what this means. It should be clear as day on paper. So maybe this sentence is a little bit too simple to describe what happens, and if that's a fact, then you will have to actually expand it or make more sentences to kind of convey your point. But is anyone knowledgeable about what actually happens with this light? What are the particles we're talking about? What? Because now I'm confused as a reader. You guys are confused as the reader. So what actually happens? Anyone know? Anyone? Yes.
Basically, the laser beam is made up of particles of light, and they're very focused and very compact. Once that beam of light hits the lens, they aren't as compact anymore. It's not just a straight line, it's just more, it's more like looking at, the easiest way to describe it is to say it's more like looking at a lamp than looking at a flashlight. The
Okay.
flashlight would be really focused and really small,
Mhm.
it covers a really small area, but the light's going to cover a bigger area once it goes through that lens.
Okay. Take that, and how can we write that here? In not so many words.
Could we just use that afterlight?
What I'm trying to suggest is that you probably can't use this sentence.
Yeah.
You'll probably have to just rewrite the whole sentence or insert 2 or 3 more sentences to convey that point. Because for me as a reader who I have no idea what you guys are talking about, now I understand what you're saying. But from reading this, I would have never gotten that from this one sentence. Okay? So we're gonna move on and then edit the rest and move on to the next page. But do you guys see what I mean by you have to be concise, but you have to be accurate, and you have to fully explain it so that your audience will have to interpret anything. Is it clear? Yes.
Would it be appropriate if someone were to write, just stop at light, like not add particles, just end the sentence at light, or would that still be vague?
Yeah, the object beam penetrates the lens would disperse the light. What light? We still don't understand what light. We still don't understand, because we're talking about different lights here. I don't know which one you're referring to. So you still have to go a little bit more in detail. And like I said, you guys, when you're writing about science, for instance, something like this that seems simple now, it's very complex things that the audience may not readily understand. So you have to make it as clear as possible. Okay? Let's move on to the next sentence, starting here with then.
It's passive,
Okay, what makes it passive?
where it says gets reflected reflective. So,
Reflects off another mirror.
So what do you suggest we do? Do we take out something, put in something?
you could replace, gets reflected.
Okay.
So yeah, take that out and replace that with the disperse object being, what is reflective be passive too? Or, okay,
Another mirror reflects the source object beam.
You guys read it. That's a better way to say that. Because I don't even know what the dispersed object being is.
my had to replace that part too, to make it less confusing.
Right. Okay, so this is the point. You guys can't write things, introduce new concepts without explaining it first. So you just can't put in there dispersed object being. And we've never talked about a dispersed object being before, and now it's like this whole new thing you're introducing that you've never explained. I don't know. I can't get a mental picture from it. So how can we describe that? Okay, so I understand that. So you split, the light was split into an object beam and a reference beam, right? The reference beam does what? A mirror shines it into a film plate. Then what happens to the object beam? Is the object beam the same thing as a dispersed object beam?
Once it goes through the
After
light.
it which is the sentence that we just crossed off.
Okay, but in this sentence, it doesn't say anything about dispersed object beam.
So could we have just changed the light particles to the object beam?
Okay, so the object beam penetrates the lens, which creates a dispersed object beam.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
could
Well,
Now we've defined what a dispersed object beam is,
So you can use it.
right? And now we can use the next sentence. Is everyone following me? Is this confusing? Who says yes? I understand that it's nitpicky, guys, but if I was a professor and you're writing a research paper or something that